Hello, everyone. Let's see. Sega, how are you? Thanks for joining. Penta Penguin, how are you? Thanks for joining. Let's see, can you guys hear me and hear the game okay? Sorry, my voice is a little messed up right now. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see the game and hear the game and all that fun stuff? Let me know in the chat. I'm drinking some very expensive Kopi Luwak coffee. Shout out to Adam Korlick for getting me addicted to it. Sega says, thanks so much for showing love on such a special anniversary. My pleasure, and thank you guys for doing the Shenmue 1 and 2 re-release. Let's see, can you guys hear and see me in the game okay? So, I figured, since it is the anniversary of Shenmue 2, we are going to play through the last bits of Shenmue 2, because I love that part. So here we are in Longrishan. Oh man, just the music makes me so excited. Oh, this is so great.
Hey.
Yeah, what?
Do you know Bailout Village?
Bailout Village? I don't know.
I see.
Maybe Specs knows. Why don't you ask him?
Who is Specs?
Let's see.
They're the kid
Let me
with
check
glasses over there, right?
Let me check the stream real quick, make sure all the audio's coming through correctly.
The kid with glasses?
Let's see.
Yeah. He's a smart aleck, but he knows a lot of stuff.
I see. Okay, I'll ask him. Where's the kid they call Specs?
Okay, so the game audio sounds pretty good. And you can hear me as well.
I want to ask
awesome.
Specs
Alright,
kid where Bailout
here we
Village
go.
is.
I see. He's always playing by the shop.
Thanks to everyone who has just joined. I hope you're all doing well.
By the shop?
Yeah, over there where the pharmacy and the fish shop are.
I see. I'll look. Thanks.
Alright, so let's make a few changes here. So I'm going to turn on the subtitles. So we'll turn this on to, let's see, voice on and text on. And right now we are playing with the Shenmue 1 and 2 re-release, which is an awesome re-release of Shenmue 1 and 2. But yeah, you can get it on PSN, Steam, Xbox. It's just so cool that it exists.
I want to ask you something.
What? Where are you from? You're not from Guilin,
I love the
are
haircuts.
I...
So
I'm from
at this
Japan.
part of the game,
Japan?
the reason why I love this part
I
so
know
much
it.
is
It's a
simply
foreign
because of the
country,
fact
right?
that throughout
Yes,
Shenmue
it
1
is.
and Shenmue 2, Shenmue 1 you're in a very familiar area, right? It's Ryo's hometown.
Welcome.
Welcome!
Excuse me.
Do you need
And
medicine, buddy?
I don't want to really talk over them talking.
Which way is
Give
it
me
to
a
Bailout
second.
Village?
You're not a customer.
Nope.
How can I get to Bailout Village?
Are you asking me for directions?
Yes.
Buy some medicine to take with you, please. It'll solve your stomach problems right away.
I don't need medicine, thanks. Could you show me the way?
I guess it can't be helped. So you want to go to Bailout Village?
Yes.
Yes.
It'll take a few days to get there from here.
So like
After
I
you
was
pass
saying,
the produce shop there. Make a left.
Shenmue 1 is like Ryo's hometown,
Keep
right?
walking on the
It's where he
path
grew
along
up.
the
So
river
everybody
all the way
knows
up.
him. Everybody's
I
like
got it.
family and
Thank you.
friends, for the most part. In Shenmue 2, or at least, yeah, in Shenmue 2, obviously you have the boat chapter in between. So this is Specs right here. This is the kid we're supposed to look for. But there's a shop here that you never have to go into. So let's check it out. That's the one thing I love about Shenmue, in Shenmue 2. There's all these areas that you never have to go to. It's so cool. You know, like, you would never see this unless you, like, went out and tried to explore all the different areas. And it's just so detailed. Like, how did they do this on a Dreamcast? I love the Dreamcast. And this is, like, super next level stuff. So, like I was saying, Shenmue 2, you have the boat chapter, right? Which, the story of the boat chapter is Ryo's on the boat after Shenmue 1 to go to Hong Kong, and Chai gets on the boat and pretty much holds a little girl named Xiao Mei hostage. And Ryo saves her, right? And that's the Xiao Mei that you meet at the beginning of Shenmue 2.
Can you help me?
But the thing about Shenmue 2 is, like, Ryo's now in a foreign land. And, you know, he makes his friends and whatnot, but it's just a very unfamiliar kind of land.
About
And
Bailout Village.
although it's funny that he can speak fluently to native mainland people in China and Hong Kong. But Yu Suzuki always says that the only reason why he can do that is because it's a video game.
I see.
Which, I
Bailout
love
Village is
that.
located upstream,
So,
along the Yingshi
the
Trail.
thing that I love about Longwishan, specifically Disc 4 of Shenmue 2 on the Dreamcast, is that now Ryo is in a completely opposite
The Yingshi Trail.
kind of area that he's used to, right? Like, he's in a totally foreign land
Would I get there
that
by following the
has,
path?
you know, all just natural resources and not like a city like, you know, like Dobuita, although Dobuita's more like a
Okay,
suburb.
I understand.
Although it's, in real life, it's kind of a city. It's interesting, like, if you ever go to Dobuita Street in real life. But in Longwishan, which is where we are right now, it's completely just nature, right? And it just creates this setting that's just so comfortable. So it's this interesting, like, I want to say juxtaposition where it's so foreign but so not at the same time. It's just beautifully well done. And, here is Fantuanzi, which there is a very interesting fact about his name, about what Fantuanzi actually means. But I'll be doing a video on that in the future. But his name doesn't necessarily make sense, but the actual symbols used to make the name Fantuanzi actually have a meaning, and it's a very interesting meaning. But I'm going to save that for a future video.
Hi. Do you know where Bailout Village is?
Yeah, I know.
He's so cute.
Where is it?
Well, let me think.
Hey, Project Katana, how are you, buddy?
I have an idea.
I haven't talked to you in a while.
Huh?
Let's play together.
Please. I want to know about Bailout Village.
Thank you, everyone who has joined.
Well then, where are you from?
I'm from a foreign country named Japan.
Wow, you're from abroad? That's cool.
That's cool. I love this kid. This kid has
I'll
such
call some more friends.
an awesome energy.
What? No. Can you tell me about Bailout Village?
Only if you tell me what kind of games you have in Japan.
Games?
If you tell me about them, I'll tell you about Bailout Village.
So if we talk to him about baseball, it's gonna end the conversation. So let's do all the other ones.
Let's see. I collected capsule toys.
A capsule toy?
Yeah.
Aw.
they come
The
in
thing I
small
love about this
container
conversation
capsules.
is that it just goes to
You
show
put in
the
the coin,
difference
and
in,
then you
like,
get the toys.
culture.
Wow, that's cool. You've got such
And
cool
there's
things
also
in Japan.
one conversation
That's right.
in this part
I
that's
envy the
super
Japanese
interesting.
kids.
It's no secret that
But you
Shenmue
don't know
kind of
what you
has,
get
like,
until
an
the moment you
interesting...
open it.
Sounds like a
There is a
lottery.
larger story
Yeah,
happening.
something like that.
Like, kind
Are
of
there many
underneath
capsule
everything you
toy
see,
machines
right?
in Japan?
The one thing I've always felt when
Yeah,
playing
there are a
Shenmue
lot.
2
But
specifically
I
is
saw
that
some in Hong Kong too.
throughout everything you see and everything
So
you
did
do
you
in the
try the
story,
ones in Hong
it feels like
Kong,
something's
too?
off, right?
Well,
Like something
grown-ups
just
aren't supposed to do those
something
things.
just like picks at you,
Oh.
where it's like kind of showing itself to like make the player think like this is all well and good, but there's something else happening that I'm not directly being told. And there's a conversation with the guy next to Fantuanzi that
Can you tell me about Bailout Village?
that kind of gets into that.
Only if you tell me what kind of games you have in Japan.
Oh,
I'm gonna skip through there. So let's talk about the arcades.
I used to go to arcades quite often.
An arcade? What's that?
They had many games there.
What do you mean by games?
You know, computer games. The ones where you put tokens into the slots to play.
Why do you need money to play?
Well, it's an arcade, so...
Why? Why? Why do you need money to play in an arcade?
You need money to play with the games.
That's strange.
I love that line.
It's
You
a
need money to
waste
play with the
spend
games.
Money on games.
Is it a waste of money?
It's a waste of money
you
to
may be
play
right.
games, unless it's Shenmue 1 and 2 re-release, which is now available on Steam, PSN, and Xbox.
Can you tell me about Bailout Village?
And
Maybe
Shenmue
you
3
can
as
tell me
well,
what kind
of course.
games you have in Japan.
Oh,
Alright, so now let's talk to him about Tag.
speaking of games, I enjoyed playing tag very much.
Tag? What's that? What kind of game is that?
Well, you have to decide who's going to be it. And he runs after his friends in order to catch one of them.
I know that one. We used to play that.
Oh, you know it?
But we don't play it anymore because it's too childish.
Oh, I see.
What else?
This
Tell
is so
me,
cool.
Tell me.
So, one thing about Fontuanzi, which I'll give a small hint as to what I was saying before. So, you can
Can you
think
tell me
of
about
this
Bailout
little
Village?
kid
Well,
as
you need to
almost
tell
like
me
a
what
fourth
kind of
wall
games you
break
have in
where
Japan.
Oh, games.
his name has something to do with Yu Suzuki's childhood. You can kind of think of Fontuanzi as like, what if Yu Suzuki was a kid in Longwishan, kind of talking to the character that he made. It's almost like this interesting reflection, and it all has to do with
I used to play baseball with
Fontuanzi's
friends.
name. It's like a really interesting lore bit.
Yeah.
Not really
the
lore,
pitcher
because
throws
it's
the ball,
more like
and you hit it with the bat.
how the character
Yeah, I
was
know
developed,
it.
but
It's called Bang Juice.
very interesting.
It's called Bonjour in Chinese.
Let's play it together. I'll call some friends.
Oh, I
We
wish.
have many
Wish
open
we could play
fields in
baseball, little guy.
Neighborhood.
Playing baseball. I haven't played it for a long time. But I really don't have time. I have to get to Bailout Village.
Shoot, you're a spoil sport.
I'm sorry.
Then, will you play with me when you get back from Bailout Village?
Aw.
Yeah, alright. If I should ever come back here, let's play baseball.
Man,
Great. It's
one
a
of the
promise.
things, like,
Yeah.
when
Okay,
Shenmue
then I'll tell
3,
you the
you know,
way to
wasn't a
Bailout
thing, like,
Village.
before it was announced
Bailout
at E3
Village
in
is
2015.
that direction.
It was always, like, on my mind. I'm like, man,
Okay.
we gotta go play baseball with
Come back
Fontuanzi.
soon.
He has such a cool name. So his name is literally Fontuanzi, which you would only know if, I believe in Shenmue 2, it was the strategy guide, maybe, that had the character names and the descriptions, which obviously, you know, people like myself, and shout out to Miles Prowler at Shenmue Dojo for making the character database. You know, now all that stuff is documented, but like back in the day, you wouldn't know his name was Fontuanzi unless you had researched it. So if we talk to this guy here, I wonder if he'll give us the actual conversation I'm thinking of.
Excuse me.
Oh, Rio's bag is missing.
Is this the right
There
path
it
to
is.
Bailout Village?
That's right.
I see. I'd like to ask you a question. Have you ever been to Bailout Village?
Yes, a number of times a long time ago.
How long ago?
When I was young, I was a traveling medicine peddler. But now that I'm this age, I can't get over the mountains.
Aw.
Is Bailout Village really that deep in the mountains?
Yes, you have to climb over a number of mountains. Some of the cliffs on the way will make you dizzy. And there are thick forests that cloud the distinction between left and right.
Is that
I
so?
love that line.
How long does it take to get to Bailout Village?
Here it is.
I wouldn't know. If you can keep from getting lost, it'll take 2 days.
2 days.
But it could take your entire life.
That line right there gives me the chills, man.
My entire life?
Just kidding. But do watch for wolves.
Yes, I understand.
So,
Thank you very
one of the
much.
theories that I kind of have for Shenmue in general, like the entire story, Shenmue 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, so on and so forth, is that there's something quite interesting happening behind the scenes, right? And Ryo's story is kind of more of a small piece of a larger event. And there are times when you talk to NPCs where they'll say things that are just out of the ordinary, almost like there's a second meaning behind it, and that guy is one of the biggest, I can't speak today, biggest examples. And like, the way that he even says it, the delivery of the line in both English and Japanese, just makes me feel like he's almost trying to tell you something, which I always found super interesting. I don't know if we could talk to this guy. Nah, he's asleep anyway. Leave him alone. Alright, let's continue on. Oh, actually, fun fact about this guy. So this character model is actually used for 2 different characters, which I think is an oversight in the development of Shenmue 2. There is a character, I believe, in Kowloon who uses the exact same character model. However, they are 2 different characters because if you look at the character database, they're 2 different people. But also, if you actually look at the files, like if you start modding the game, they are 2 distinctively different characters, just using the same textures for the character model.
Excuse me.
What is it?
Does this path lead to Bailu Village?
Yes, it goes over some mountains and leads to Bailu Village. This is the only path.
His voice actor
that
is
will lead you
also
to that
someone
village.
else who voice acted
Bailu Village
other
far?
characters in the game.
From what
I
I've
can't
heard,
place.
It takes a full 2 days.
I can't place who
Of
the voice
course,
is.
I'm not really sure.
I see.
Alright. Let's go! We're gonna get to the green path, which has one of my favorite songs in the series. Or Greenfield, not Green Path. Here we go. Yeah. Dun 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 dun. The reason why I love this song so much is that there is a promotional VHS tape. I actually have it. It's over there somewhere. Of when Shenmue was first being released on the Dreamcast, where they showed off certain gameplay elements that actually didn't make it into the final game, like riding a bicycle. And when they showed the bicycle scene, they were playing this song in the background in the video. And as somebody who tried his hardest to get the bicycle back working in Shenmue through mods, I've heard this song a million bajillion times. It's very, very nostalgic. But I mean, just look at this. Like, it blows my mind that this level of detail was achievable in, like, the late 90s. It's just amazing. Like, obviously this is, like, the HD re-release, but... You know, like, it's mind-blowing, the tricks that are being used to get that much level of detail in the textures on the Dreamcast. Not to mention, like, I've modded this game, as you know, I'm sure some of you guys have watched my YouTube channel, but I've modded the hell out of this game, and, like, there are textures, like, behind all of these, there's textures down that way for, like, things you can see in the distance, and they're so highly detailed. It just blows my mind that this game looks this good, especially for the time it came out in. Like, it still really holds up till today. Let's see, does this guy have anything interesting to say? What's up, bro?
Excuse me.
What is it?
I love your hat. I love the straw hat.
Is this the way to Bailu Village?
Yeah. It passes over the mountains and leads to Bailu Village. This is the only path that leads to that village.
Is Bailu Village far?
As far as I've heard, it takes a full 2 days. But of course, I'm not really sure.
I see.
Alright. Let's keep going. So, when you talk to all the NPCs, obviously, they have, sorry, someone messaged me. It was actually Adam Korlick who just messaged me, so shout out to Adam Korlick. You made it on the stream. But, what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was talking about. So I always found this interesting, that out of nowhere, it starts raining around the time where Ryo meets Shenhua. Now, normally you would just write that off as like, oh, the weather's changing for the sake of the atmosphere of what's about to happen. But
I'd better hurry.
given the fact that Shenhua's image is used in such a metaphorical way, and is always related to mysticism, it almost makes you feel like the storm that's actually happening is a direct result of Ryo and Shenhua finally meeting in person, and the prophecy that's being told throughout the entire series is now actually starting to happen. Because the prophecy is from Shenhua's perspective, right? It's from the Bailu villagers' perspective. In this case, Shenhua. There's our girl. Hell yeah. Such an anime moment. I love it. And, like, the weather changes to such a, like, distinctively different weather pattern out of nowhere at the exact time where the person who is reciting the prophecy is now meeting the person who the prophecy is about. It's really interesting. It's a very weird detail that I don't see people talk about too much. So, Shenhua, if you notice in Shenmue 3, Shenhua's voice actress is different. She was voiced by Brianna Knickerbocker in Shenmue 3, who did an awesome job, by the way. In Shenmue 2, Shenhua is voiced by Akashika Sholin. And for the longest time, Akashika Sholin, you know, she hasn't really done anything voice acting-wise from what we could tell. But I actually spoke to her about 6 months ago. And she's doing well. I'm happy to report that. We randomly got in touch one day, and I don't think anybody from the Shenmue community has spoken to her in like 20 years. But we spoke about 6 months ago, and she is doing well. So shout out to Akashika Sholin. She voices Shenhua. She also voices Wong in Shenmue 2. So same voice actors for Shenhua and Wong. Which is common in the Shenmue series, that there's, you know, one voice actor voicing multiple roles. Like, for instance, in Shenmue 1, Terry Osada is the voice of Ine-san, but she's also the voice of Megumi. So it's like the old lady and the really young girl, the same person. I find that funny.
Hey, are you alright?
And obviously Eric Kelso, shout out to Eric. He voices Ren, Fukusan, and just like a bunch of NPCs.
Where is the deer?
He voices the fisherman in the harbor in Shenmue 1. He also voices Guizan, of course.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
You know, there's just something about Shenmue 2, like, I can never really describe it. It's just so euphoric.
Okay?
Thank you.
Why did you jump in?
I just had to. I had to save it.
Huh.
The white deer is my village's guardian.
A guardian? A white deer.
Yeah.
White. Bai. Deer. Lu.
Bailu village. My home.
Bailu village. Where is this village?
It's up
So,
along the
Bailu,
river.
it means white
I
deer,
can show you.
but then also, if I remember
I'm
correctly,
Shinpo. What's your name?
Bailu Village also
How's it
is like,
Yo.
has something to do with
Follow
olives?
me.
I forget. In Shenmue 3 it's talked about.
Yo.
Hmm.
the
did you come
conversations
from?
with Shenhua.
So,
You're not from here,
when it
are
comes
you?
to the Shenmue story,
no.
this
I came from
particular
Japan.
scene
Japan?
is probably
Where's
one of the
that?
most
It's
important
an island country.
like
east of
moments
China.
in Shenmue
In the east.
entirely. These conversations,
Japan is pretty small compared to China.
because you learn a
Is it
lot,
far
and there's a
from
lot of
here?
hints to like
Well,
weird
actually,
mystical
it's kinda
things.
far.
A faraway country to the east.
There we are, right
What's
there.
wrong?
That's the first one.
Oh, nothing.
Shenhua recites the prophecy, starting to
Shenhua.
realize that Ryo
What
might
is
be
it,
the
Bill?
person.
What kind of place is Bailu Village?
It's a small village in the mountains.
Is it far from here?
Yes, we have to cross 2 mountains.
Really? 2 mountains? Have you lived in Bailu Village all your life?
Yes, ever since I was small.
Your family as well?
Yes, my father and I. The 2 of us have always lived in Bailu Village.
I see. Shenfa,
Yes?
can you tell me more about Bailu Village?
Let's see. My grandfather
I guess the other
told
thing
me
also
that
to
it's
keep
one
in
of
mind
the
is that
oldest
until
villages in
Shenmue 3
Guilin.
came out, we never got to Bailu Village.
An old village.
I mean, technically we did,
it's
because
been
Shenhua's
around
house
since
is
the
in
Tang
Bailu Village,
Dynasty.
technically,
Since the Tang
but it's on the
Dynasty.
outskirts in
It's been
between
said that some
the
nobles who
main
were expelled
village
from the
center
city by the
and the
emperor
stone pit.
built the village
So
to live in
we
heaven.
technically got to Bailu Village, but we didn't, because we only saw one very small part of it that didn't
Yes.
represent the entirety of Bailu Village. So the idea of what Bailu Village is in the minds of the Shenmue fans was such a mystery for like 14, 15 years, you know?
50 people?
Yes. The villagers are all nice people.
The only thing we had to
Sure,
go
they were
off
nice
of
to you,
was
too.
what Shenhua was talking
It
about
sounds
with
like
like
a
the
nice village.
wolves and the mountains.
Yes.
And then also we had come to learn that Bailu Village was likely based off of Miao Village in
The
China.
mountain's blessings.
Which,
Further ahead. as we
you know,
near
if
the
you look at
village,
Miao Village in
the paths are
China,
gonna
you
get
can
more
kind of get a
rocky.
feeling for what Bailu Village is like.
We'll be going over the mountain now. So tell me if you're tired.
So there was a lot of theory work behind what Bailu Village was, and then obviously
Shenhua.
in Shenmue
Yeah.
3, we finally got the reveal of Bailu Village. Which
Can you tell me
I
more
can't
about the
even
village?
express how that felt,
More?
you know? After 15 years
Let me see.
of wondering
There
so
are
hard
various
what this
legends told in Bailu
place
Village.
is, with such like passionate thinking,
There
you
are
know?
legends?
To finally
Yes,
be
there are
like,
many.
here's
Since
what
the
you
village has
wanted
existed
for
hundreds
like
of years.
most of your lifetime.
what?
It's such a cool feeling.
Well, what kind of stories did they tell where you grew up?
I find it
Really?
funny too that Rio's
Oh.
like, what kind of stories did they tell you? And she starts
Okay.
laughing. You know, there's just something weird about Shenhua.
There was a shrine near my house called Yamanose Shrine.
What is a shrine?
It looks similar to the temples in China.
Ah, it's where the gods live.
You make wishes at the shrine.
Did your wish come true?
I'm not sure.
It didn't come true?
I never really wished for anything seriously, though.
Oh,
Shenfa,
yes?
what kind of stories are there in Bailu Village?
There are so many stories that have been told.
That thing about the white deer being the guardian, is that one of the stories?
Yes.
How does that story go?
Long ago, the village suffered from drought, and then there was a forest fire. When the village was surrounded by flames, a white deer appeared.
A white deer.
That white deer led the villagers to the spring in the mountains.
To the spring?
The villagers were able to escape from the forest fire because of that.
Oh, I just love this so
That's why
much.
it's the village's guardian.
From then on, the white deer appeared
It's just
occasionally,
so down to
saving the
earth and
villagers from
wholesome.
many other dangers.
You
An
know,
interesting story.
like you take a character
All
like
the
Rio,
villagers
who's
believe it,
used to living
and
in
I do too.
Yokosuka, and like introduce him to a character
Shenhua.
that's literally
Yes?
lived in a rural village her entire life.
It's nothing.
Alright, so that's the first part of the conversation. There is a secret cutscene that's really important that you can miss. I'll try my best to get it, but off the top of my head, I kind of forget how to activate it.
What's this tree?
A fragrant olive tree.
Oh, yep, there it is.
They are in bloom up ahead too.
Oh.
Yeah, the olive trees, like I said before.
Aren't they beautiful?
Yeah.
During this season, all the trees are in full bloom.
Fragrant olives.
Yes. In China, we call these trees gui.
Yep.
And there are so many here, like woods, or lin.
Weelin.
So guilin means the woods of fragrant olives.
Beautiful.
Really? A lot of them are in bloom.
Yes. it's
Weelin
as
is
though
a real
whole
place,
mountain is
by the
rocked
way,
by the flowers.
in China.
Let's move on, Yo.
Okay.
And it's absolutely beautiful.
Shenfa.
Yes?
I hope to visit there someday. But obviously with everything going on in the world, that's a
Do
bit
you
hard
like
to
flowers,
do.
Shenfa?
Yes, I love them. How about you?
Flowers. I had a friend whose family ran a florist.
Your friend in Japan?
Yeah,
What is a florist?
a shop that sells flowers.
Sell flowers?
Yeah, that's right.
That's strange. Flowers can be found everywhere.
Well, that's true.
Does your friend go pick flowers in the mountains and sell them?
No, Nozomi.
The person's name is Nozomi?
Nozomi
Yeah.
Harasaki.
Who was this person?
Nozomi.
Nozomi wa boku no tomodachi desu. She was an old friend.
We were childhood friends.
A childhood friend.
We lived near each other and went to the same school.
Were you too close?
Yeah, I guess.
What's the matter, Yo?
We were close.
I see.
Shenfa,
Yes?
what does your father do?
He's a stone cutter in Bailout village.
I see.
He finds various stones in the mountain stone pits and creates beautiful works from stone. When we get to our village,
Interesting
I want to
fact
show
about
you some
Shenhua's
things my father
stepfather.
created.
I mean,
like
she
that.
keeps saying her father,
Hey,
but technically it's
What
her
about your
stepfather.
father?
My father.
Hang on, let me
My
select the
father
thing.
taught me a lot of things.
Just like me and my
Oh,
father.
okay, I didn't get a choice.
Yeah,
So,
What did your father teach you?
originally,
father.
Shenhua's
Oh,
stepfather's
what's wrong?
name was changed
Did
in
I
between
say something
Shenmue 2
wrong?
and 3. Technically. The reason why I say that is because... and
just
shout out
remembering
to
By the
Matt
way,
Kilpatrick,
are
Lom
we near
DC,
Bailout
for
Village yet?
figuring this out.
We go over
So all
this
credit goes to
mountain,
him.
and we'll
But
have to go even further.
I believe if
I
you,
see.
at the end of
We
Shenmue
still have a
2,
long way to go.
Shenhua's stepfather writes a letter to Shenhua and she reads it out loud. But if you
Shenhua.
look at the actual
Yes?
calligraphy on the letter, he signs
No
his
matter
name.
how far we go, the path
But
is
she
all
never
the
says
same.
it out loud. But if you translate it, it
everywhere
says,
around
Zoshu Yuen, I
Did
believe,
you ever get lost?
When
right?
I was small, I did.
But
But if you get lost,
in
just
Shenmue
take the
3,
animal
his name is
trail.
different.
The animal trails?
Zoshu
Because the
Yuan,
animals
sorry,
in the
Yuan.
mountains
But in
walk.
Shenmue 3, it's
If you
Yuen.
follow
So
one,
the difference
it will
is,
always lead to water.
Yuan
How
like
do you find one?
Y-U-A-N.
You look for
And in
animal
Shenmue 3,
footprints.
it's Yuen, Y-U-E-N. So,
You know so much about
could just be a
animals.
translational
I've
thing.
played in the forest since I was a child.
The interesting
You
thing
learned it
though is that
No, my father
he
taught me most
uses
of
the
things I
family name
know.
Zolshu,
Yes, about the
but the
forest
family
and the
name is
mountains
actually
and
Lin.
the animals.
because
He told me
Shenhua
about the sky, the
uses
stars,
her stepfather's
and many other
family
things.
name, I believe,
I see.
which would be Lin. So it should be Yuen Lin, not Yuen Zolshu. So either that's a change, like a retcon in the story, or there's something else to it that we don't know yet. Which, given Shenhua's nature, it's quite possible that,
They're beautiful.
there
Don't
could
they
be
look
something
like
else to it.
flowers?
Flowers. Hey, yeah. They do look
Oh,
like
I love
flowers.
this scene.
When I was small, I once saw a lot of
I started
butterflies
crying.
all fly away at once. I started crying because I really thought that all the flowers had flown away.
Why are there so many here?
Why?
Why?
There aren't any flowers around here.
This is the place where the butterflies come to drink water.
To drink?
Yes, after the rainfall, they come here to take in the drops on the leaves. You see them often after a rainfall.
I see.
I love that little detail where they're walking and Shenmue immediately notices the difference in the weather change, or in the wind. I always loved how the eye shift happens so suddenly. Such a cool detail. And like the HD re-release really brings those details out. Alright, here we go. So one thing that might not be very well known is that, I mean, it's well known that the QTE noises in this chapter are different than the entire rest of the game, right? And for a long time, we thought it was because that, like, this was the next chapter, so they're using different sounds. But a few of us actually asked Yu Suzuki directly about it, about why the differences in the QTE noises. And the answer that we got was pretty much, like, it probably would have gotten annoying to hear the same QTE noises all the way through the whole game. Which, oops. That's my fault.
Don't worry.
Which is a very Yu Suzuki-esque answer. I don't know if, oh, this is, okay. I know why I failed that QTE. So, technically the game thinks I'm playing with an Xbox controller, but I'm actually playing with a PlayStation 5 controller, the DualSense. So, the X button's different. I hit the X button on the controller rather than what it should be on the Xbox controller, which is square on the PS5 controller. I gotta remember that. Which I believe this game natively supports the PlayStation controller as well, but I'm using DS4 Windows with the update to run the DualSense as well. So the game sees it as an Xbox controller, so thus you get the Xbox button prompts. Not the game's fault, it's just the way I have it set up.
Yo, are you okay?
Project Katana says, I am awesome.
I'm fine.
Glad to hear you're doing well, buddy.
Let's hurry. It's this way.
Yeah.
Alright, here we go. I kind of like making Rio screw up this, I don't know why, that just looks so funny to
Did you
me.
get hurt?
I'm fine.
As he's on the ground, he's like, I'm fine. I just always think that's funny looking. Some of my friends who also play Shenmue tell me I do the QTEs really fast, and it's pretty much because I have them memorized. Whoops, not that one. When I was, one of the reasons why I like this part so much too is that it reminds me of my childhood. Ah, fuck. Whenever I talk, I get really bad at doing QTEs. It reminds me of childhood because, as some of you know, I grew up on a farm, right? In the middle of the woods. And we had a bunch of trails that led through the forest. So it always, reminded me of Shenmue 2. Like, when I was younger. But now that I'm older, we don't have the farm anymore. So now Shenmue 2 reminds me of my childhood. It's beautiful. Oh, the Firefly scene. So beautiful. God damn, man. Fucking love this game.
At a place like this, with a clear spring, there are fireflies.
They're beautiful.
Yes,
Damn right.
It's like being surrounded by stars.
What I would give to
It's my
look
first time
at this
seeing so many
area in
fireflies.
VR.
Aren't there fireflies in Japan?
When I was a child, I saw
Which,
some.
with the right tools, you could probably
there
do.
are only a few of them
If you
now.
mod the game, you set the camera like as like a first-person view from Rio's perspective.
Wait, Yo.
Set the field of view really
You
large.
should be careful when you're
Because in the
shining light into
re-release, it
shrubs.
supports widescreen, so you could
Snake
probably
eyes
extend
shine
that out
very much
further.
like fireflies.
And then
Snake eyes.
If you put your hand out
um,
carelessly, you'll get bitten.
you can probably
know that.
have the controller hold down the look button the entire time, and then have the headset mapped to the D-pad, so that when you look, Rio moves his
Yes.
head.
But
And
it's
then
getting
you get
dark.
kind
You
of
must
a
hurry on our
bootleg
way.
version of VR Shenmue.
Let's move on.
And then if you mess with the scripts that run during the cutscene, you could probably, you know, get the cutscene to stop, and then you can explore that area in VR. That area was also used as a trailer or a teaser area for Shenmue 3. The Firefly teaser. Oh, I hit the wrong X button again. Huh.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Whenever I talk while playing Shenmue, like I said, I fail horribly to QTEs. Ah, crap. Screwed it up again. Some of them I'm doing on purpose, though. Also, if you keep messing up the QTEs, you do get, like, a sort of game over.
Did you get hurt?
There's a risk of you taking too
fine.
long. There is also a very rare cutscene where you get a game over because Shenhua actually gets crushed by rocks. Which is crazy to think about. But yeah, there's actually different phases of Shenmue 2 where you could die as well. You could either fall from a large height, you can get cut up with a chainsaw during the Kowloon section. So we've reached Crag.
The sun has gone down.
So I would say this is about the halfway point to Shenhua's house.
Let's find it quickly.
Okay.
The thing I love about this area as well
This is some
is that
cliffs.
you only see a small
Yes,
portion of it,
It's
but
one of the most
if you mod the
dangerous
game,
areas around here.
you could tell that the
You
area
always
for
walk
Crag,
around
which is the
Yes,
name of the
but I
area
don't
that we're in
walk
right
here at
now,
night.
is so
When it
vastly
gets dark,
huge, it's
I
amazing.
can't see very well. Also, the animals start moving around looking for water.
I see.
And then
It's getting pretty
shortly
dark.
after this part, we get to
We
one of
have to
my
find the kid
favorite
quickly.
moments in Shenmue 2.
Soon, the moon is going to hide behind the clouds. It'll be difficult to find once it gets dark.
Is it near here?
Yes, travelers use it to take shelter from the rain. I think it was along the cliffside.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Oh man, this soundtrack is so fucking good. It's so hard to believe that this game came out 20 years ago. So ahead of its time.
Let's wait for the sunrise here.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the hawk. The bird in Shenmue definitely has like a like metaphorical meaning, but we don't know what it is till this day. It's a cute bird. Oh, the music. It's
Let's
so
kindle a
good.
fire. The night is cold in the mountains. Our clothes are wet. We'll freeze. We've got to find some firewood to make a fire.
Looks like someone has made a fire. There was someone here.
Someone who passed by here must have spent the night.
We can still use this.
But this won't be enough to last till morning. We'll need to gather more wood.
Yeah. I'll go look outside.
Yo. The twigs outside are still wet from the rain. We can't burn them.
Then what?
Look. There are some twigs. Perhaps we could find more further inside.
All right. I'll go find them. You can watch the fire.
Yes.
Alright, so our mission here is to find wood for the fire so that we could have a fire all night, so one, we don't freeze, and two, the wolves don't kill us. So there's a bunch of twigs on the ground, but I'm specifically looking for bundles of twigs because it'll take less time. So here's a bundle. So we grab the bundle.
There should be more.
Yep. Now we'll grab a second bundle, which I believe there's one... No, not... There might be one over there, but I do know for sure that there's one in the following area. Over here. I also find it cool that, like, in some areas you get a first-person view if you want it. I've been trying to mod the game so that you can activate that first-person view pretty much everywhere. But I kind of just stopped working on it one day.
I should go back.
Alright, we got a bunch of firewood. But yeah, in this area you can cycle between third and first person. Huh. There's another area over there. Cool.
Good, you found them.
Yeah, there seems to be more. I'll go gather them.
Yes.
Then the other thing with Shenmue is that, like, every scenario you can think of is like accounted for. So like if I don't bring any wood to Shenhua, there's still something that she says to me,
What
you know?
happened? Couldn't you find any firewood?
No.
Look carefully. Please look again, Yo.
I just
Yeah,
love those
I know.
little details, you know? I wonder if she says anything different this time. Let's see.
What happened? Couldn't you find any firewood?
I love the little camera
No.
zoom in.
Look carefully. Please look again, Yo.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see. So we gonna grab one of the bundles. There should be one right there. Yeah, there it is. So we grab this guy.
I should go back.
We have enough firewood.
Good.
Thank you.
One thing that's
Come by
quite
the fire
interesting
pit
too
warm,
is
Yo.
that the placement of the firewood and also the placement of the fire itself, like the area where they build the fire, suggests that someone was there before them. Who was there before them? I'll leave that up to you guys to
It's
guess.
so warm.
Yeah.
I love this scene as well,
No.
because Shenhua's gonna start asking Ryo about his friends. And, like, mind you, this is, like, 80 hours into the series. So it's also a way for, like, you as the player to reminisce about all the good times you had.
Shenpa?
Which she'll eventually ask you about your friends, just not yet.
You must be hungry.
We walked a lot.
Tomorrow, when we get home, I'll prepare a big meal for you. I'm not that great of a cook, though.
A big meal. Can't wait.
How about rabbit?
A rabbit? I've never
I
tried
love
it.
Ryo's eyes.
Do you eat it all the time?
Yes. Don't you eat rabbit in Japan?
No. We eat beef, or...
But cows help cultivate the fields.
How do you get your meat?
We catch them in the mountains.
The mountains. Sounds like a lot of work.
Sometimes my father catches them. Rabbits, pheasants, and turtle doves. What's wrong?
I never thought about it that way. All I've had to do was buy the meat, or the vegetables.
What we catch are gifts from the mountains. The meat satisfies our hunger, and the fur protects us from the cold. Everything is a gift from the mountains.
I guess that's what living in the mountains
The other
is
thing
all
that I
about.
love about
Yeah.
Shenmue and Shenmue 2 is that, like, you know, as we get
always
older,
walk these paths alone?
life gets
Yeah.
stressful, you know?
Did you come to China
And,
alone?
like,
Yeah. I went to
you
Hong
know,
Kong,
like
to meet
as you
an
become an
actor in
adult
Lee
and
Shao
you
Tao.
get more responsibilities and all
Were you
that,
able to meet
life
this
gets really
person?
stressful. And for me
Yeah.
personally,
Who was this
whenever I
person?
get really
A
stressed,
master of Baji style.
I'll play Shenmue
A
2.
master?
And the moments like this in the game, like,
I have a picture of Master.
they kind of remind you
Can I
that
see it?
life is like, there's a lot of good and bad, you know? But the
person
good
dressed in
always
blue.
outweighs the bad, like, if
She's
that
so
makes sense.
beautiful. She's the master.
And, like,
Yeah.
it just gives you that
Awesome.
feeling, at least for me, that, like, everything's
If I had
gonna be
never met her,
alright.
I would have been.
My father said people meet because of destiny.
Destiny?
Yes. You didn't meet her by accident. Destiny had guided you to meet her.
Destiny. How do you usually spend your time in the village?
I plant vegetables in the field and feed the goats.
If you guys give me 1 second, I will be right back. I just gotta take care of something. Hang on 1 second.
Do you go to school?
We don't have one in the village. Anything I need to know I learned from my father and the villagers.
How old are you?
16?
2 years younger than me.
Do you go to school?
I used to.
Is school fun?
Yeah, I have friends in school. We used to have a lot of fun. It would have been better if we didn't have exams.
Alright.
School. Sounds like fun. What were your friends like?
Alright, let's talk about Tom.
There was Tom.
Tom?
He's from the States. He's a real funny guy.
Did he go to school?
Fun
too?
fact about Tom.
No.
In the English
he
dub
sold
of
hot dogs
Shenmue
in
1,
town.
Tom is voiced by Ryan
He's a foreign
Dries,
food.
right?
He also loved to dance. He was
The
always
thing
singing.
that's interesting or fun about that is that Ryan Dries,
Yeah.
if you've ever played Resident Evil 2 or 3
Where is he
Remake,
now?
the face
back
model
home
for
to the
Robert
States.
Kendo
I
is
think
Robert
he's really
Dries. So the face model for Robert Kendo is the
Yeah.
same guy who voiced Tom in Shenmue. Awesome. Which, Ryan Dries is an awesome dude if you ever get the chance to talk to him. Let's talk about my man, Goro, next.
Remember?
Oh yeah, working hard, eh, bro?
Yeah. I met him at the harbor.
I love Goro. My favorite
When I
character in
first met him,
Shenmue 1.
He was bullying and taking money from people.
Not a lot of people like Goro because they find him annoying,
He
but
was
I
threatening
fucking love
people to get
Goro.
money.
He sounds like a bad person.
Bro, I just got
Inside,
done
he's a
told
nice
ya.
guy.
Don't say that name
He
so
doesn't do
loud.
drugs anymore. He's eager to please.
I can't do the voice right now.
He changes his attitude.
I can mimic Goro's voice really well, but right now I'm a little under the weather, so I can't get to that vocal range.
Goro. He found a job for me at the harbor. A job carrying crates.
Ah, there's a job like that in the village. This person owns many cows and...
No, I carried them using a machine.
Oh, man.
Machine? Oh, you've experienced a lot of things. What other friends did you have?
To everyone who just joined, thank you so much. Let's talk about Guizan next. Our man Guizan. Bless him.
We met each other because of a particular incident.
Guizan, voiced by Eric Kelso, of course. I spent a lot of time with Eric in Japan,
Where is he
and
now?
Eric's one of the coolest dudes I've ever met in my life. That guy,
He got hurt.
like, we were chatting online for years before we met in person, and I learned so much, like, so much wisdom from him.
My father says that's what a Chinese
Such an amazing
boyfriend
human
is
being.
supposed to do.
Him, Corey, Liesel, Akashka Sholin,
His skills in Chinese martial arts.
you know,
are
Michael
really
Nash
something.
to it,
If I ever get the chance, I'd like to spar with him
Casey
again.
Mangelo,
I'm sure you'll see him again.
Kira Buckland, all the
Yeah.
people that were like
What
voice
other
actors in
friends did you have?
Shenmue. They're just all so awesome. I love them. I was actually talking to Corey last night. Seems like he's doing well.
Who is that?
I have a picture.
Ah. Oh, the
Are
theme.
all Japanese women so beautiful?
Yep.
I'm not sure.
All women are
She
beautiful.
looks so gentle.
I gave her so much trouble.
Aw.
Did something happen?
I feel so bad for
She was
Nozomi.
kidnapped by a bunch of rough men back home.
She's so in love with Ryo,
What
but
happened?
obviously Ryo has
saved her.
the lust for revenge in Shenmue 1. And then I find it funny that, like, when you call her in Shenmue 3, she sounds so jealous of Shenhua. It's so cute.
in Canada,
Canada?
a country far away.
Aw.
Do you wish to see her?
Ryo, not to get too much into my personal life, but I relate so hard.
Really?
There's someone that I love in Canada as well.
It's getting late. I think you should get some sleep.
Yes. It'll be a fine day tomorrow. I know because the wind shifted.
You can.
I
tell
just
because of that.
love how in
During
touch
this season, when the west
with
wind
nature
blows, it'll be a
Shenhua
fine
is.
day.
Really? It's late now. Go ahead and get some sleep. I'll watch the fire.
Thank you.
Alright, here it comes. One of my most favorite moments in Shenmue 2. A moment that, till this day, still, like, brings a tear to my eye. Like, if I start crying on stream, I apologize in advance. It's after this part. I mean, Ryo doing Tai Chi. This is an amazing moment because throughout the end parts of Shenmue 2, Ryo starts to lose that lust for revenge. And this part in particular is definitely a visual example of that idea. And if I remember correctly, he's doing the same animation that John Min does, so he's technically doing Chen-style Tai Chi. Tai Chi is very relaxing. I used to do it. Back when I was living on the farm, I used to go into the woods, as I always did. I pretty much lived in the woods. Like, as a kid, that's all I did. Like, I never dealt with anything. I was just in the forest all the time. And I used to do Tai Chi in the forest. I haven't been back there in a while because we technically don't own the property now. So it's kind of illegal for me to be there because it's, like, owned by the state now, but if they don't know, It's fine.
Did you
It's
know
not like
that
it's a
my father
residence, you know. If somebody actually lived
No,
there,
I
obviously
learned
it's a
this in
different
Hong Kong,
story, but
but I mostly
it's
learned from watching.
protected property now.
Breathe in the power from the earth.
But luckily,
In the center of the
some of the
earth.
local police actually like know my family.
There is
So
much power
if
in
I just show them my
truth.
license, they're like,
Love
"Oh, all right,
is
yeah,
in
yeah,
everything.
you can stay here. It's fine. Just don't cause any trouble."
Yes, I always gain power from the forest.
Very important line. Very, very important line.
Forest.
Oh, here's the wolves.
What was that?
Wolves.
Wolves. Are they nearby?
Yes, there are many wolves. The name Long Huishan means Wolves Mountain.
I heard that wolves are nocturnal.
Yes, sometimes groups of them attack people.
I love all the different names of the towns in Shenmue because they all have meanings
Aren't you
behind them.
scared?
Which is pretty
Well, the
realistic
fire
in
burning.
Asia. There's a lot of names
They
of
would
like
never
towns
come
and
near a
stuff
fire.
that like,
Oh,
you know, they all have
we
like
built
their
a
own
fire at the
meanings, right?
entrance. We better keep the fire going then.
Like Sakuragaoka,
I
or
like the fire
Sakuragaoka,
now. You should
means
rest
like
later, Joe.
Sakura Town, like Sakura
Are you
Tree
sure?
Town.
Yes,
Thank you.
Although I'm not sure if the name Dobuita, I'm not sure what the exact meaning of that is. Here it is. Ah! Oh, I love this part so much. I'm getting a phone call. Hold on, let me text this guy. I don't even want to interrupt Shenhua. I just love this part. So beautiful. Such a beautiful scene. The fact that you can, like, interrupt her at any time is cool, too. Like, it's a neat touch. I remember when I was a kid, I kind of recreated this scene by myself in the woods. Like, there was this tree that I used to do Tai Chi on. There was a tree trunk that fell one day just because of, you know, like a storm or something. The tree fell over. It's a pretty large tree, too. And I used to sit on it when I was, like, stressed as a teenager. Just sit on it and just kind of hum this song to myself. And it was such a calming feeling. For those of you who have watched my YouTube channel in the past, there were some videos that I uploaded where I was doing different martial arts katas on a tree trunk. And that's the exact tree I'm talking about. Giant tree that kind of had like a nice view of the entire forest behind the farm that I lived on. And I used to just sit there for hours and take in the scenery. Beautiful.
I'm sorry. Did I wake you?
No.
Oh, and the
What
music.
was that song?
Oh,
It's an old
so
song of
good. The
village.
timing's so well
Bailout
done.
Village?
Yes, there are many old songs in the village.
What was the meaning of that song?
It's a song about the landscape of Guilin.
I apologize for
The
my
mountains
smoke.
of Guilin glisten after the rain. Clear water flows into the spring, which flows into the river of Ingshui Chuan.
Props to
It's the
props to
river where
Akashka
you
Sholin
came
for
from.
pronouncing it correctly.
Ah,
Akashka is such an
In the
awesome
summer,
person.
There are fireflies by the riverside.
Like I said, I spoke to her about 6 months ago.
so the name Ingshui Twin
which,
means river of fireflies.
She hasn't really done any interviews or anything about Shenmue 2, but I got the chance to talk to her privately about Shenmue 2, and she seems like such a down-to-earth person, like, you know, definitely the perfect person to play Shenhua. But yeah, as you can see from what I said before, the area is like much more detailed than we see, but this cutscene shows a pretty good portion of it. It just blows my mind that they managed to get this graphical fidelity back in like 1999. I mean, technically this game came out in 2001 on the Dreamcast, but obviously it was in development before then.
That's lovely weather.
Just like you said.
Let's go.
But yeah, this was one of the final games released on the Dreamcast, and what a way. You know, the Dreamcast that had a short life, yeah, but it went out with a bang, man.
Look.
All the mountains here have such strange shapes.
Just like Sega to
Yeah,
release an amazing title
Shen.
at the end of the life
Yes,
cycle
it
of the
means a
console.
mountain with
It's such a
pure,
beautiful
shape.
capstone on the story of the Dreamcast. Ah, the forest music.
Shenfa,
Yes?
it's been a long time since I walked on mountain paths like this one.
Oh? What kind of mountains are there where you grew up?
Mountains. In Japan, there's a beautiful mountain called Mount Fuji.
Japan, your country.
Yeah,
It must be very far.
it's beyond the sea.
The sea. I'd
My
like to
doctor is
see it.
texting me.
You have never seen the sea before?
Never.
Have you ever been outside Guilin?
Not even once.
Did you ever wish to go out?
I never thought of it. The flowers and animals keep me company when I go to the forest. They talk to me.
The flowers and the animals?
Yes,
How?
I can't explain, but those who live in the same forest can understand each other.
It's because you're so in touch with nature.
Yes,
Really goes to show how, like,
Shenfa.
not living in, like, the forest and being around cities and technology
It looks like we're
shapes
going
you
down
to
the
be
mountain. Are we
a
getting
lot
near the
different
village?
than somebody
Yes,
who
that's
grew
right.
up in
I see.
just a rural area.
So once we get through this path, it looks like we'll be there.
yes, after we go over another mountain.
Oh. The mountains continue.
Are you tired now?
No, I'm fine.
Good. Have you gotten used to the mountain paths yet?
Yep, I've been walking
Yeah.
them for 20
I'm
years.
getting pretty used to walking here.
I'm glad. But it is more difficult to go downhill than uphill. Watch your step.
I will.
Some places are still muddy from the rain last night.
Yeah, I'll be careful.
What's wrong, Yo?
Nothing.
Bailout village is this way. Let's hurry on.
Yeah. Shenfa,
Yes?
you know about the wind?
Huh? The wind?
Yeah, you knew about the rain because the wind changed, right?
Oh. Yes, I can tell the weather from the changes in the wind's direction and its humidity.
Then what you said yesterday in the forest.
I felt the humid wind from the west. It was
Oh,
a sign that
Corgi
the rain
Raid.
clouds were approaching.
Thank you so much.
You can tell all that?
I can tell not only from the wind, but from watching the clouds.
Hi everyone who just joined, I hope you're all doing well. We are playing Shenmue 2 because it is my favorite game of all time, and it's also the 20th anniversary of the Japanese release of Shenmue 2 on the Dreamcast.
The clouds.
If you observe the sky carefully, you could tell the weather too.
I could?
Yes, there are many signs in the sky. Observe carefully.
I agree. Shenfa,
Yes?
it's nothing.
I guess to those joined, let me introduce myself. I'm James. Hello.
A landscape.
I'm one of the admins of the global Shenmue communities, and I've been making YouTube videos about Shenmue
We can't get past here.
since
It's probably because of the rain
2010.
last night.
Is there another path we can take?
I don't
So
know.
11 years now, I've been making Shenmue content online.
I recall
But I've
my
also
father
been in the
mentioning
community
another
since
path.
2002, representing Shenmue
There
Dojo.
was a path that broke off on our way
Or
here.
back then, it was shenmue.planets.gamespy.com.
Yeah, let's go see.
But yeah, I joined Shenmue Dojo. I was lurking in 2001, but I joined in 2002. Democles104 says, "Hope you've been having a good day. Glad to see so many people playing Shenmue today." Yeah, totally. It makes me so happy to see just the love for this series. Alright, so now Shenhua has us leading the path. Which, I used to have it memorized where to go, but I don't exactly remember anymore.
Is this the path?
It might be.
There's also an extra path you can go, where you get an extra cutscene,
Although I'm not
which
so
I'll make sure to get that.
In any case, we don't have a choice. Let's go, Shenfa.
Yo.
But yeah, like I was saying before, I'm one of the administrators of the global Shenmue communities, specifically Shenmue 500K, but we are affiliated with all the other groups like Shenmue Dojo, Phantom Riverstone, Team U, and all that. So we all work together. It's just one big, beautiful family. Let's go left. So we might hit some dead ends, which is fine. Like I said, I don't have the exact route memorized anymore. It's been a while. But I mean, just look at this. It's so beautiful. All the sun rays. All the sparkles in the trees. You got this little pond here. Let's go right. I believe this is the circle. It's just walking through the forest with such beautiful music. It's just so amazing. Oh, okay, so that's the other side of the circle, so I believe we go this way. Thanks for the raid, Project Katana. Welcome, raiders. How are you guys doing? Oh, yep, this was the dead end. We are playing Shenmue 2.
Let's follow another.
Let's do that.
Today is the 20th anniversary of the Japanese release of Shenmue 2 on the Dreamcast, September 6th, 2001. And till this day, this game remains as my favorite game of all time. But nice to meet you all. I'm James. I guess I'll introduce myself to the raiders here. I'm James. I am an administrator of the global Shenmue communities, specifically Shenmue 500K on Facebook, but we are affiliated with every other community. You know, Shenmue Dojo, Team U, Shenmue Master, you know, Phantom Riverstone, Team U. We all work together.
A river.
You know, Sega Saturno as well in Spain.
Yo.
And then for me, I administrate the global Shenmue 500K, and I'm also one of the administrators of the Hong Kong community as well.
If you slip, you could sprain your ankle.
All right, I'll be careful.
I'll go first. Yo, this way.
Novin Works, how are you?
Let's move on before it gets too dark.
Right.
Ah, the music is so beautiful.
Bailout Village. Yo, we were right about taking this path.
Yeah.
Bailu means white deer.
We can move on.
Yes.
Good. Let's go.
Oh, it's just so... It's just... There's just something so special about this part in Shenmue 2. It's just so wholesome. Oh man, it's just... I don't know how to explain it. There's just something so spiritual
When you step on the stones, maintain your balance
about this.
by stepping out gently.
Same as the leg steps of jujitsu,
What's jujitsu?
a Japanese martial art. Our
It's
learning
also a
from
really
Reiner.
good
Slide your
metaphor
feet as
for
opposed
how,
to glide
like,
on water surface.
martial arts and
I
just
was
being
taught
out in the
But
countryside,
you've acquired that skill naturally.
they
You
just...
must have martial arts on your mind.
There's just
all
a
the time.
natural parallel between them, you
Not
know?
really.
I'll go first. Yo, please be careful. Good. You got across safely.
Yeah.
The one thing about Shenmue when it comes to QTEs as well is that I've always loved the attention to the detail in the QTEs where every button you press actually does relate to what you're doing. It's not just a random press this button or mash this button. It's literally like, you know, like when you hit like X on the Xbox controller or the Dreamcast controller, it's literally because you're shifting your weight and the different footsteps correspond to the left and right diagonals, or the left and right D-pad. Let's go left. Oh, this music, man. Like, props to AM2's music team, like Ryuji. Just everyone who worked on this game. It's just so... There's just nothing else like it. Like, I just can't comprehend another game, especially during its time, that has so much detail, that's so detailed, you know? Like, it still blows my mind that they were able to get this level of fidelity back in, like, the late 90s. It just goes to show how dedicated Sega and Yu Suzuki's team was to crafting this. It's such a masterpiece. Is this a dead end? No, it's not. This was the right way. Awesome. The Guardian Stones.
The Guardians.
What's the matter?
We're back on the original path.
Really?
When I was a child, as I was talking about before,
The Guardians are the sign. The landslide we saw was this way.
when I used to roam the trails in the forest behind my farm, I actually
Really?
set up my own Guardian
From
Stones.
here on, it's the path that I usually
Because there was an
Good.
area
Now
where,
you can follow me.
because we made horse trails in our forest, like my
Okay,
aunts
lead
and
the way.
uncles did
That's
when I
right.
was, before I was born actually. And they made a bunch of branching paths in the deep woods. So when I was young, I used to leave little markers, and I did put a stone kind of little statue in one of the areas, and it's still there till this day.
Shenfa,
Yes, Yo?
you always take this path, right?
Yes.
I just want to cry. This is so beautiful. I'm holding in the tears, though.
When you go into the mountains, what do you do for drinking water?
If you're walking around here, there's no need to worry about water. There are rivers and
Let's
lots
see,
of places where
Damocles,
the
can you
water
update the
flows into
Shenmue 1 and
springs.
2 credits? So I am included. Damocles, what did you work on when it comes to Shenmue 1 and 2?
Oh.
Novan Works says, I'm good, just a
Yes, we
spinal
can.
cord lumbar injury,
Oh,
so resting
when
now.
you reach
Oh,
your
I'm sorry
house,
to
you
hear
can
that,
drink
Allie.
from the well.
I hope you're doing okay. I feel you, man. Like, I have, in my L4 and L5, I have a slipped disc,
The water
spondylolisthesis,
from the well.
with like a 10 to
Everyone in the
15%
village
slippage,
lives
so
off
I
the
feel you,
water
man.
from the
Back
well.
problems are no joke.
The river is where we fish and where the children play.
Did you used to play?
I
in the
actually,
river?
I'm seeing my
When I was
chiropractor
a
later
child,
today after
I
the
played
stream
with the boys.
for that exact
I
reason.
kept it a secret from my father.
I hope you're doing well. He delivered the discs across the room in QA. Oh
What
man,
did
dude,
you
that's
do?
so cool!
We caught fish.
Damocles, you
And we
are
went
a
to the other
legend.
bank.
Thank you for
You
joining
were
the
a pretty
stream.
active kid.
It's nice to meet you.
Yes.
Elf. Oh yeah, the L4. Yeah. So I'm guessing you probably have pain in like your right leg, because that's where mine resonates. My right leg is always so tense because of the slippage.
Shenfa,
Yes?
Let's see. I helped a little on
Anything
QA
going to be
side
done
for the
with that
remaster,
landslide
but it
over
wasn't
there?
my project, so it
I
was
will
just
let
supporting the
my
QA
father
leads
know
while
as
they were
soon as we
busy.
get home.
Oh, that's so cool! Thank you so
you
much.
can't leave it like that.
All the villagers will fix the path together.
You know,
Really? That'll be a lot of work.
I can only imagine
happens
how
once every few
intense the
years.
QA was for this game.
Helped.
Because, like,
It's not all
D3T
that bad.
ported the source code, right, for the re-release.
What do you mean?
And, like,
The villagers
I can't
cooperated
even
with the
imagine,
path.
because Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2,
But when
um,
the paths are finished,
the Dreamcast
everyone's
versions are so
happy.
specifically tailored to the
Oh.
Dreamcast hardware.
So the ties
I mean,
between the
Shenmue 2
villagers
had
become
the port to
stronger.
the Xbox, right?
Yes.
And as
When
far
you
as
go
I
back to
remember,
the
it's the
village,
Xbox port that was used for
grown-ups all
Shenmue 1
drink
and 2
celebrate,
re-release.
singing songs.
But still, man, like,
Everyone looks forward
I
to
can't
that.
imagine
That's
how
why they get together and
how
laugh.
insane the
I
QA
get it.
process was for this. Because the code is so, like,
The path branches off.
it's just so
Yeah.
intense for
We'll
Shenmue.
be taking a detour.
I've never
But
seen the
ahead
source
is a
code
field
myself,
full of
obviously, because I don't
beautiful
work for
flowers.
Sega.
Flowers.
But,
Yes. Do you want to see them?
of course we do. This is actually an achievement. If you say yes, and she
Oh,
shows
yeah.
you the flowers, you get an achievement
Why
for
not?
that, but I've already 100% of the game.
Yes.
Um,
Follow me.
what was I gonna say? The code for Shenmue is so, like, for lack of a better word, like, archaic, you know?
Shenfa.
I've been modding Shenmue for a very long time now, so I've never seen the
How far
source
is the
code,
source
but I've
code?
seen enough of how the game
All
is
the way to the
designed
village.
to know that it's
The
an
theory looks all the same
insane task
People not
to take
thinking
on
think
porting the
exact
source
same
code.
thing.
I mostly babysat the QA testers for a few weeks, nothing in depth, but always fun to help out.
It's amazing. how
Totally!
you Get lost.
The more help
How do you
Shenmue
recognize
gets, the
the
better.
paths?
I'll know the
So,
direction
you know,
if I
thank
see
you.
the sun's position. And there are signs here and there on the paths.
Signs on these mountain paths.
Yes, there are some ahead of here. Strangely shaped trees and stones, and the drinking water place.
But yeah, thank you all for watching the stream. Let's see, do you have drink and snacks in arm's reach?
Oh.
For me personally, I was drinking some coffee, which this is actually Kopi Luwak coffee, which is really expensive.
No,
But
I
for
didn't
today,
know.
it's a holiday. It's
I'll
Shenmue
show
2's
you what the
birthday.
signs are.
And then
One
I
of
have a
them is just
vape
up
as
ahead.
well.
Okay.
I haven't eaten anything today, though. This part's so gorgeous. I just... Man,
Look, y'all. Aren't they beautiful?
they are.
They are beautiful.
The flowers are
The
just...
last time I came here, the flowers were still in bud, but now they've
I've
all
never
bloomed.
been to this area of China. I've been to mainland
Let's
China
move
4
on. There
times.
will be more flowers ahead.
Mostly just like a layover, but I spent a few days in Beijing. But when I was in Japan, I traveled enough to see like a bunch of forests and stuff. And when I was in Japan, I found a forest that was so just beautiful. I stood there in awe, and it just Obviously, it wasn't mainland China, but it still reminded me so much of Shenmue 2. And then the woods behind my farm were so like, naturally developed over the years that it was the same feeling. Like, it was just unfiltered woods, and it was so beautiful. Allie, I'm so sorry, man. Like, if I was near you, we're pretty far from each other, but if I was near you, I would be there right next to you helping you out, brother. Allie is a legend. Novenworks is a legend. Love him. The thing that I love about Novenworks is, we share a love for the culture of Shenmue. Let's make all Shenmue birthdays a worldwide holiday. Hell yeah! I am so down. I have had thoughts of doing something like that. Like, I used to manage an IT team at one of my old jobs, and whenever it was the anniversary of a Shenmue game, I would usually, like, let everyone leave early. They never knew why, because, like, some of them knew about Shenmue, some of them didn't, but whenever, oh, we're getting up to the spider tree. Whenever it was Shenmue's anniversary, I would let my entire team just go home early. I would never really tell them why, but some of them who knew me well knew why. But sadly, I don't work there anymore. My new job, I don't really have the power to do that,
What's
but
wrong, yo?
my old job, like I said,
tree.
if it was like,
A spider tree.
if it was either September 9th,
A spider.
September
That's what the
6th,
villagers
or
call it.
in
The
November,
branches
or
look
sorry,
like
December for Shenmue 1's
Now that you
anniversary,
mention it, they do.
I would just be
Whenever
like,
I'm
you know
walking
what?
back to the village, I feel
You guys go
relieved
home
when I
early
see
today.
this tree.
Huh?
We're halfway to Bailout Village from here.
We need more games in the Shenmue
This tree marks
universe.
the halfway point.
Oh yeah,
I see.
definitely.
Now come on.
You know,
the village is this way.
I hope that we can move on to Shenmue 4. I'm very positive about Shenmue 4 being a thing. Like, I mean, Cedric Biscay already said, like, that they're working on pitching Shenmue. In the Shenmue Dojo interview, he spoke about it. And, like, I really hope that we get to see Shenmue 5. And I know that Yu Suzuki has said in the past that he could end it in 4 or 5. But if it were me to decide, like, say, like, money wasn't an issue, right? Because obviously it takes a lot of money to make a video game. But, like, if there was an infinite budget, I would just love to see every chapter of the Shenmue story be its own game. So, 11 games.
Shenpa,
What is it, yo?
we've come a long way. Are you tired?
I'm fine. I'm used to walking here.
Oh, that's right.
Are you alright?
And
Do you
then,
want to
like,
take a rest?
No, I'm fine. Let's hurry on our way.
You don't have to be in such a hurry now.
you know, I would love to see the Saturn builds as
The
well.
path that you're familiar with?
Yes. Up ahead there is a clear
For those who
space.
don't know in the chat, Shenmue was actually, its development started on the Saturn, which I'm currently working on a documentary
Good
about
idea.
that exact
Let's go
thing.
there.
Part 1 of the documentary is on my YouTube channel. Part 2 I'm still working on.
Shenpa,
Yes?
But a lot of Shenmue was developed on the Saturn, and then eventually it was made for the Dreamcast. The Saturn version, you know, there's footage online of it and stuff, but till this day, we haven't seen too much of it. Let's see, let's talk about Bailu Village.
how long does it take to get to Bailu Village from here?
This area.
Oh yeah,
is
dude,
halfway
more
point
games in the
between village
Shenmue
and the
1
cave.
would be so cool. Like,
Alright.
Um,
the way from here.
Yes.
I would
You
love
find
to
me
see
following
a video game
I'm
about,
aware.
like, after Rio leaves, what is life like in Yokosuka? Like, there was a fan movie made about Goro after Rio leaves and, like, the struggle that he went through. I would love to see stuff like that.
Why
You
do
know,
go to the
like,
docks?
the whatever
I'd like
happened
buy
to everyone
things that
after
are
Rio
kept good
left.
in the village.
Or even a prequel about Iwao, that'd be
Iron
cool
is
too.
precious in the village.
I mean, we have a
For
fan
crafting
game called
knives.
Shenmue Zero.
And also for the tools.
For
my
those of
father
you
uses
who,
for work.
who are from the old days of Shenmue Dojo, I'm sure you remember Shenmue
But
Zero.
when they are broken, he can't get them fixed
I love
in the
Shenmue
village.
Zero.
Really? What else?
I also buy medicines that are only sold in town.
Oh, medicines.
The villagers usually
The one thing I
use
find
herbal
interesting as
medicine.
well is, like,
But
Shenmue
they
tells you a
mostly
lot about
They
Bailu
need the
Village and
kind
stuff.
sold in town.
And, like,
But
Shenmue
medicine
3
is precious.
shows all of that. And it's just so cool how much Shenmue 3 is a direct continuation of
So
Shenmue
I
2.
can't buy that much.
I see.
Yeah, medicines are expensive in Shenmue 3. So you gotta chop all that wood, baby.
The path branches off again.
Yo,
Master
what
Tao,
are you
or
doing?
Uncle Tao.
Huh?
Yeah,
Oh. The path is
gotta go to
branching off
Uncle
again.
Tao's shop, the Tao
I
Tao
told you,
Get
you'll
store.
be fine if you
Chop
can
all
get
the
off
wood
the
and buy all the medicine.
This way.
Yeah, that's right.
Banana and tea is nice. I could use some tea right now. I actually can't eat bananas. Apparently they're not too good for your liver, and I was battling a liver disease last year, which I've spoken about on social media. Luckily, it's a lot better now, but my GI doctor told me to stay away from bananas and grapes, interestingly.
Shenfa,
Yes?
Let's see. Let's talk about the path.
we've been walking for a long time, but there's no one passing by.
No. Hardly anyone visits the village. And hardly any villagers venture from the village.
Which is interesting because in Shenmue 3 we find out that a lot of the men from the village go to the
guess-
city to work.
When you're surrounded by these mountains. What is it?
Everyone will be curious when they see you in the village.
Yeah, I imagine so.
The children will be really happy.
Aw.
It will be their first time to see a foreigner.
Children.
Yo,
Hmm?
it would be nice if you could talk to the children. Tell them about Japan and the sea.
Yeah, I hope I
Yeah,
have
and we
time
got
to
a
do that.
hint of that from Fontuanzi in
I will if I
Longuishan when
can.
we told them about like the arcades and different games and playing tag and baseball. Which,
Spring.
the
The water's color.
yeah, the color changes.
This spring is called Five Color Spring.
5-color spring?
From noon till evening, the water's color changes 5 times. That's why it has that name.
A mysterious spring.
The color will change soon. Look, Yo.
I don't have any tea right now, but I'm drinking Kopi Luwak coffee.
How...
You can thank Adam Koralik for getting me addicted to Weasel coffee.
I never thought
It's
of
so
such
good.
thing as
It's so
strange.
smooth.
Really?
The only problem is it's extremely expensive, but luckily we have a friend in Vietnam who can source the beans locally. How long have I been streaming today? About an hour and 40 minutes now. I started in Longuishan at the beginning, and I'm going pretty much till the possibly the end of the game, but I do need to actually leave in about an hour to go see my doctor, my
Land's hard
chiropractor.
again. We have to take a different path.
I'm sorry, Yo.
But yeah, it's around this time where you can get one of the bad endings where Shenhua actually gets crushed by the rocks
worry
and she
about it.
dies, which is crazy.
Let's get back to that
But
branching path.
I don't remember exactly what you have to do to actually spawn that cutscene. Novin works. Do you remember how to get that cutscene?
We have no choice but to go this way.
You're right.
Alright? I'll go first from here.
Yes, you can lead the way.
Oh, dude, a heating pad is so good. I have one as well for like my back and whatnot, and my jaw because my my mandibular joint sometimes gets misplaced. So whenever that happens, I put a heating pad on it. It feels so good. But yeah, I wish you a full recovery, brother. Of course, if you need anything, feel free to ask. I'm far away, but whatever I could do to help you, man, I got you. That's, us Shenmue brothers take care of each other.
Huh? What's the matter, Shenpa?
Ah, the herbs.
These are herbs.
Oh man, it makes me so happy that we have, like, herbs in Shenmue 3. Because, like, as you see here, they're so important, you know? because that's what they use to make all the medicine and all that in the village.
Let's go.
Alright, let's see. Let's take a right. Oh, the music is just so beautiful. Such next level stuff, man. This is a dead end. But just look at the, like, you never even need to be here, but there's just this beautiful, like, waterfall, you know? Like, there's just so much detail in this game.
It's a dead end. Let's follow another path.
You know, it just goes to show how much care was put into this series. It just blows my mind that, like I've been saying this whole stream, this level of fidelity and realization of, like, just, like, all the areas in Shenmue is just so mind-blowing, you know? Especially nowadays, like, Shenmue is one of the very few time capsules that we have of, like, the Kowloon Walled City, you know? And, like, personally for me, this area reminds me of home. A home that I don't have anymore, you know? So it's a time capsule for me personally as well of, like, my childhood. It's just something that no other game does for me. Here we are at another branching path. Let's take a left this time. Oh yeah, herbs are awesome, man. At least we got marijuana getting more legalized, you know? I don't really smoke weed that much, but I have tried it. And I will say it does help a lot with back problems. You know, hemp is a very magical, for lack of a better word, a very magical thing. I mean, I don't really like smoking that much because, like, although it helps with, like, my back problems and stuff, like, obviously, like, being high, for me, like, there are some medications that I take that don't mix well with it. At least in my experience.
A strange landscape.
The rocks are like bridges, and many are connected. There are many places with similar terrain in Guiling. But I was surprised too when I first saw this.
The scenery looks artificial.
True, but it's the wind and water that created the shapes over a long time.
Isn't it amazing, too, that, like she just said, you know, like, it looks like the bridges were made by people, but it's only a result of just nature taking its course, but it's so helpful to people. So it almost shows, like, this relationship between humanity and nature, you know?
Slowly, we won't fall.
It's just so amazing. It's such a...
I'll go first.
It's such a down-to-earth tale. I love it. Every minor detail is just so amazing in this game. Alright. I used to be able to just run right across without hitting... Oh, nope, I hit one of the QTEs. Sometimes you can get away with, if you run in the right exact way, you can run across, but we'll take it slowly, so Rio doesn't fall. There we go. But yeah, this is one of the scenes where Rio could actually die. And you have to get a retry. Which we don't want Rio to die, because we wanna continue the journey. There we go. Oops. And we get to jump across the bridge.
Jump carefully. We can make it.
Oh.
Yeah, Rio's backpack.
Jump!
With how many capsule toys and stuff that he has at this point, that thing must be heavy, man. Especially if you get the duck in Wan's Eye. You know, he has a duck in his backpack.
Now let's go. The The path continues.
Well, actually, technically, he has a duck in his pocket because he doesn't have the backpack with him at all times. I always find that really funny. But as Yu Suzuki would say, it only makes sense because it's a video game.
Bailout Village. Yo, let's move on.
Yeah. It's this way, right?
Yes.
Good. Let's go.
It's one of my favorite quotes from Yu Suzuki. He was asked, like, why is it that Ryo's able to converse with mainland China, people in China when he doesn't speak Chinese? Or, like, Mandarin, or in the case of Hong Kong, he doesn't speak Cantonese. And Yu Suzuki's like, because it's a video game. I love Yu-san. He's such a cool dude. I got to chat with him when we were in Monaco, and he's so down to earth, all of them.
What is this?
That is a stone lion.
The stone lion.
It is an ancient Chinese sign placed on the roads that branch off.
Road sign. Then...
I wish we had more time to talk, though, because there's so many questions I'd love to ask him. But
Really?
at the time,
The village is not far from here
he was
now.
knee-deep in developing Shenmue 3, so I didn't want to, like, bother him
Yeah.
about Shenmue, you know, because it was what he was doing all day. You know, all day, every day. As much as I know that he loves, obviously, this is his baby, like, this is his life's work, but I kind of take it upon myself to not bother somebody about something that they're always doing, because, you know, they finally have downtime. I don't want to just drag them back into it.
Shenfa.
Yes?
But there's so many questions I'd love to
I
ask
saw
him
that stone lion in Hong Kong, too.
about, like, some of the theory
stone
side of
lion
things,
pin is a
like,
talisman
you
found
know, like
everywhere
me
in
and
China.
Norris have a pretty detailed
talisman.
theory as to what
They
Baihu
say for
is,
safe
and I would
journeys.
love to just present it
So
to
that's
Yusan and be like,
something
are we
on the path.
correct?
Yes, especially on
There's
the
a,
places where
um,
the path branch off.
The other thing about Shenmue that's really interesting too is that obviously it's
off.
based a lot on like
I was taught when
Chinese
I was a
mythology.
child that it protects
So there's
the
a lot of
village from
mythology you
evil
look
spirits.
into that's very parallel to
I
Shenmue's
remember
story
now.
that actually helps you
I
figure
saw
out some
them at the
things, you know?
entrances of the
Like,
town of Hong Kong.
with Baihu, there's actually a very
Sounds
ancient
surprised.
vampire in
Also,
Chinese
we
mythology
played to us
that
when a child
Baihu
A
seems to be
child.
based on.
Yes.
When
As
it
a
comes to
child,
like what he
when
looks
I
like,
had
his skin
fever,
color, like the fact that
the
he's
old
pure
lady in the
white
village prayed
and
for
just
me.
so like mysterious. Everyone was under extreme pressure, and it's a miracle it happened from
They
the
have
ground
them
up.
in your village
Yeah,
as well?
I've heard a lot.
They
I've heard a
placed
lot
me
of
in the
stories,
village
man.
where the roads
Like,
cross, where some houses
like
have
Yu
been
Suzuki
carved in
would
the
pretty much
wall.
just live in the
I guess
office,
they're everywhere.
working on
Yeah.
Shenmue 3 constantly. Like, I have so much respect for him, man. That guy's such a hard worker. And the team as well, you know, like,
What's wrong, Shenfa?
I don't know how much I can talk about it publicly because it's like, you know, personal stories, but I've heard
No,
quite a bit
really
about
fun.
how
Either path will take us to
how
the
much
village.
work was
It's
put into
just
Shenmue
that
3. How long will I be live? Probably about for
Well, there will be a
another
detour.
45 minutes.
the path looks so
Because like I
much
said, I
alike,
do need to
can't
go
tell
see
which
my,
one.
it's 3:30 p.m. now where I'm at, Eastern Standard
I'll
Time.
decide on which
I have to be at my doctor's
Yeah.
office at 5 p.m.,
Sounds
so
good.
probably about another 45 minutes. Let's go... Oh, I forgot which one she said was the longer path. I'll take a guess. I'll take it the right path.
Let's go this way.
Yes.
One of the paths you can take, you'll see Shenhua kind of like doing this thing where you see all the sunflowers kind of floating in the air, and it's a beautiful sight, but I think I took the wrong path, so we won't see it.
Shenfa,
Yes.
Let's talk about danger.
isn't it dangerous to walk in the mountains alone?
There's nothing dangerous here. I just stay put when there's no moon, or when it rains heavily. And if you don't surprise the animals,
I guess
they
one
won't
thing I'll
attack
say
you.
about Shenmue 3's development, I was in Japan, in Tokyo, during Golden Week in 2017, I believe, or
There's
2018,
nothing to fear.
and
People
I
are
had
also
plans
focused
to
on
meet
the
up with some of the guys actually developing Shenmue 3, like
Watch
friends
out
of
for the
mine,
snakes. They're
and
poisonous ones.
we couldn't meet up because even during Golden
Poisonous
Week, they were
snakes?
working their butts
Yeah.
off on Shenmue
If the
3, right?
snakes
And like
had
Golden Week is the
triangle
week
shape,
where
it's
everybody's
poisonous.
off. So
It
like,
slithers on the
they were
ground.
working through holidays and everything to make sure that this game was the best it could be.
All right. I'll
And
remember that.
I feel like Shenmue 3 delivered, you know? There's a lot of...
Yeah.
I've
I'll
seen
be
a lot
careful.
of, like, polarizing opinions
Are there
about
lots
it.
of poisonous
I mean,
snakes?
obviously, Shenmue 3 was
sometimes,
the game that
but
came out after
the
years and
poison
years
of
of
the snakes around
anticipation.
here isn't too strong.
But I feel like Shenmue
Even
3
if you're
nailed
bitten,
a lot of
if
the
you take
things
care
that
of it
I
quickly, you'll
personally
be
wanted
fine.
it to.
I see.
You know,
Feel
like,
better?
Yeah. a
what did
little.
it for me was,
Shenmue.
obviously visiting
Yeah.
Bailu Village, like the main area of Bailu Village for the first time, was just
What does your house look like?
an
My
experience that I can't
Like any other
ever, I
ordinary
don't think
house
I'll
in the
ever get
village.
that experience again. You know, that was
An
the end of
ordinary
like a
house in Bailu
16-year
I can't
wonder,
imagine
you
what it
know?
looks like.
They're wooden
But what did it
pillars
for me
and
was the
walls made
scene
from
with
dirt.
Shenhua and the thug
Walls made
in
from
Bailu
dirt.
Village,
There are houses made from
which
stone in
was
the village,
like
too.
one of the
You
first
can get various
proofs
kinds of stones near the
of a
village.
lot of the thoughts about
There are
Shenhua being a
beautiful
little
stones and
more
strong ones, too,
human
used to build
than most
houses.
people, you know?
There are
She,
no houses
there's
in
definitely
Japan made
something
from
with
stone.
her,
Oh,
which Yu Suzuki briefly talked about in the
do you
Shenmue
mean
Master
by rare,
interview
beautiful
from, I
stones?
think, 2012.
you can
The
only
one he did
find
with
them in
Kenji from
Guilin,
Shenmue Master,
specifically near Bailu Village.
where he talks about
There
Shenhua
used to
being
be
able
treasures
to
by the emperors
tap
and
into
nobles
like
in
her
the city.
ancestors.
Emperors and...
No,
And,
Hmm.
you know, the
Well,
conversations
these
with
houses made
Shenhua
of-
that you can have when
my
you're at her
house was
house in
made from wood.
Shenmue 3.
Most of the old
She
houses
touches
are made
on
from
like a
wood.
lot of things that
Only wood?
kind of spark a little bit of theory work.
No, the roofs are tiled, and the windows and doors
But yeah,
are
I
glass.
loved Shenmue 3.
glass. We don't have that in the village.
Really?
Once broken, it can't be fixed. No one uses it for houses.
Oh.
Yo, the village is this way.
Yeah. Shenfa,
Yes?
One of my life goals is to
what sort of animals
experience
live here?
this part of the game,
There
but
are
on
many
like the
kinds of
Saturn
animals.
version. Because in
Yesterday you
Shenmue 2
told
on
me
the
that there were
Xbox, we got
wolves.
like the Shenmue Saturn
There are
footage.
wolves and bears
And
in
they
these
showed
mountains.
parts of that build that took
Wolves
place in
and
the
bears.
forest here, where
Aren't you
Rio's
scared of
running.
them?
And I'm like,
I'm
man,
not scared. Nothing dangerous happens.
like I feel like that
The
game
bears
is
won't
probably
attack
just so
people.
brilliant. I would
I
love to
see.
see it.
But if you see a cub, you have to get away from it quickly.
Hopefully one day we can see more
Yes.
footage of the Saturn
The
builds.
mother bear would fight.
But
risking its own
understandably,
life to protect her child.
you know,
Risking her own life.